Hello and welcome. My name is Brett, and I'm not a YouTuber, I'm not a journalist, I just want to be a vessel for some incredible people to tell some incredible stories. If you've ever watched a game of professional Rocket League, you're gonna know my guest, so he needs no introduction, but he'll get one during the episode anyway. So without further ado, we got Jamesbot. Let's get into it. Jamesbot.
Yeah, are we live?
We are live.
Oh, this is great. Okay.
Esports caster since 2016.
Honestly, I've been doing esports since 2014 or so, maybe even earlier. It's tough to say when it officially started, but maybe officially I'll say 2014.
2014. You've casted a lot of things, but notable events such as DreamHack, such as Gold Rush, an assortment of CRL events, and then most notably RLCS.
Yeah, it's been a lot in between, when RLCS came out and now. But yeah, I think my most notable is certainly the World Championships, the RLCS World Championships.
I would say it's RLCS. Teamcaster for NRG. Former professional player for Double Tap.
Well, I mean, I'll have to put an asterisk on that. So I was a top player.
I'll air quote it.
Okay. But we did get a funny story. I'm not sure how often I told that story or this story, but we actually had a contract offer. Me, Espion, and Digital was the team on Double Tap. We had a contract offer before this RLCS Season 1 came out. There was a bunch of rumors that it was happening, so orgs were starting to pick up teams. And we had a contract offer from Orbit Gaming. And eventually, I also got the contract offer to commentate for Season 1, and I went with that. So my teammates, we had to say no to that. But Orbit ended up picking up Garrett G and Turtle and those guys and Moses at the time. So
you can always say your second choice to Garrett G.
Yeah.
You can hold that one right on over his head.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
maybe.
Goodness. Father.
Yep.
Husband.
Yes.
Did I miss anything in that introduction?
Esports coach at a high school.
Esports coach.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember hearing something about that.
I mean, there's a lot of labels you could throw out there, but Austrian economist, Christian, anything you want.
So I'll roll out the scroll.
Yeah.
I got you.
And I should say amateur economist. Very.
Yeah, that's okay. We're up here in Michigan.
We are. Thanks for making the drive.
Absolutely. I didn't know that you were local to Michigan because I grew up here. And I forgot that everybody can be either extremely nice or extremely mean. Like I said hello to somebody in my hotel when I walked in, and they just said no.
No, that's amazing.
I forgot about this.
They must have been here for the Jeep Fest.
Yeah, it had to have been something like that. I didn't do the Jeep wave or whatever, so they were like, get out of here.
There's like a whole Jeep thing going on around.
It's wild.
Right, we walked in. There's literally the whole street Jeeps parked.
The block is hot with Jeeps. I tell you what.
And interesting people judging by the bumper stickers and things like that.
Yeah, and like the 7 mullets I counted on the way in.
So the no had to have been a Jeep person.
It had to have been. They're all about it. I ripped this off from another podcast. I'm not afraid to admit that, but everybody starts out with a gift.
Oh, wow. You did not have to do that. What is this? You got me a blue bag. Thank you.
It's the blue bag. I had to.
I love blue. Oh, is there something in it?
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm just kidding. I'm not that dense. Oh, let's go in Octane. And there's more. Orange Octane. That is amazing. NRG is orange. So
I think those are rare. I struggled to find that one
so
for a while.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Also, I'll keep this around because I'm buddies with KevPert. I don't know if you know KevPert. Mm-hmm. He was an old YouTuber back in the day, and then also it now helps coach Gen G. And he's a big Hot Wheels fan, so he'll love to see
you'll have to hold that one up.
All right, and here we go, the Brentley Boost T-shirt. We're just gonna send it. I love it.
We're just gonna send it.
Deep box of doom. That's great.
Yeah, I wouldn't wear that one.
I'll have to wear that. At Worlds.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about, dude. That's what I'm talking. They'll have to
so much.
Send me DMs, and they'll have to buy theirs until they come on the show. But
let me see if I can even prop up the tee for the
using the bag as the. Oh, look at you go! You're so resourceful, James.
You got to be in esports.
You
gotta
have
make
to
things
be.
work on nickels and dimes.
We were talking about this during breakfast. I wouldn't say super casual as far as a fan goes. I would say I'm like casual plus, where like, so I couldn't exactly afford the Hellcat, but I bought the RT and I put some Hellcat wheels on it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not a good player. I know that for sure.
I'm not a good player either, so.
I've seen you play. You're way better. You're miles better than I am.
Yeah, it's just what good is one of those terms, those relative terms.
I guess you could say that. I have a good time. I'm not good. Good
Yeah.
times and good.
Yeah.
A little different. But like I know enough about RLCS. Like I've been watching RLCS since probably 2019, 2018. I know the rosters. When it comes to brackets and stuff or points, whatever, there's a bunch of shows out there that are good for that. Chalkcast, First Touch, Gibbs, Lawler, literally anybody else but me. But I want to know more about James. So where are you from? Where you're raised, and how did you end up in the area? Were you born around here?
So let's get into it. So I am a West Michigan native. Been here most of my life, certainly all of my conscious life. My family moved to Allegan, Michigan in 1990 or 1991, I forget. My dad started a law practice downtown Allegan, and that's where I grew up. I loved it. It was awesome. You know, I would ride my bike or rollerblade downtown Allegan or skateboard. I injured myself horribly on a 4-set down on the riverfront. But I love growing up in Allegan.
It's a key to childhood.
You got to wreck yourself.
Yeah, a couple times.
On some extreme sports. But yeah, grew up in Allegan, loved it. Went to high school in Byron Center, and because my mom was a teacher there, so I transferred over for my high school career. And then and I coach the Byron Center High School esports team now, which is
that's gotta be cool.
I love it. Yeah, it's I wish I had it when I was a kid. I was playing in Halo tournaments, local Halo tournaments back in 2006 time period.
Crushing 8-year-olds like Gibbs.
No, I was gonna say, that Gibbs's local scene sounds like it was a pushover. Ours was a little more competitive. So we had people driving up from Ohio to come to our events. So.
Official Halo call out for Gibbs.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, Gibbs is a bit of a gaming jack of all trades. He's good at everything.
I've heard.
Yeah, he's good at everything.
That's cool. You just had your first kid.
Yep, in October of last year. So I'm a dad now. That's it's been a lot less sleep than what I'm used to, but it's really cool. It's really rewarding.
Awesome.
He's like a mini me as well. Everything about him.
That's gonna be a fun part growing up too. You're gonna be like, look at me go. Your wife's like, huh? And you're like, nothing.
Yeah. Well, my wife sees it too. Like he's my parents called me chunkwad when I was a baby. I was a fat baby. He's a fat baby. He's got blue eyes just like me, and right now he's having a terrible time learning how to poop turds. He hates it, and so did I. My parents had to pump me full of prune juice just to get me to stop screaming. He's literally a mini me. He's just like me.
Maybe that's why my mom called me shitter.
Yeah, babies do that a lot.
Oh, man, polar opposites, dude. I tell you what.
That's funny.
What was your introduction to Rocket League? Did it find you? How'd you find it?
It found me.
Okay.
You see this hat I'm wearing?
I do.
Can you read it? What does this say?
The old DBZ party.
20th
anniversary.
So I found Rocket League at DBZ party. So my buddies, the McKinneys, Brian and Pat McKinney, dating all the way back to like 2004, they started doing this thing called DBZ party where we'll get together. It started out as once a year. Then now we do a winter and a summer version. But we all get together over the course of a weekend and watch an arc of Dragon Ball Z together while we're drinking Z Drink, which is basically super sugary Kool-Aid. And we eat junk food and play video games. And so, we used to have this thing called Z Olympics. We still do it occasionally, not every time. But it's just like a little tournament over the course of a weekend that consists of multiple different games or events. And, one summer DBZ party of 2015 or 2016, I'd have to go back and look. I think it was 2016, but, or it might have even been 2015. I'll have to go nail that down. But Rocket League was out free on the PlayStation Plus store. So it was out for free. And I walked down into the basement. Everyone had their PS4s. And was playing Rocket League.
Like the OG kind of LAN party where everyone has their consoles on their own TV.
Sitting, yep.
I missed that.
And well, I mean, we had LCD TVs. You know, this is like 2015.
Yeah.
But it was like we had
that on GTA 4.
Yeah,
it was the same time frame ish. It was way earlier than that, but we had the LCDs.
Yeah, people were
those OG LANs.
Yeah, it was, and I mean that's what I've got some pictures that I could show you. But yeah, we would go down in their basement and just play. There was actually a picture that got to the front page of the gaming subreddit where we like duct taped a GameCube and a projector to the ceiling at DBZ party, and like
have I seen
maybe you have, I don't know, but we've
I feel like you just unlocked a memory. Thing. I had to like. It was in SpongeBob where they're going through the files in his head. And I feel like they just pulled that one. I don't know. You'll have to show it to me.
Yeah, I'll have to. But I'm played it there. I was actually super big into Counter-Strike at the time. You can go and check out one of my old YouTube channels that, I just would make content for fun. It's terrible, but DDT Jamesbot, Digital Dream Team is what it stood for.
Okay.
And I was like hard into CSGO and like CSGO Lounge, like betting and things like that. So I was really into CSGO, but I played Rocket League in their basement at DBZ party. And I said, this is my game. I dropped everything. I'm like, this is my game.
You took a good gamble though. I mean, did you expect Rocket League to get as big as it is?
No.
Because
it's huge now.
It's huge now.
It's huge now. When I got it, I had never heard of it. I played it for the first time. That was literally my first experience. Like I didn't see Rocket League and be like, oh, I want to play that. Well, I guess I did in a way, but I walked down into that basement, saw them playing, and started playing right away. That was my first experience, and it was like no other gaming experience I'd ever done. And I've been a huge gamer my whole life. Yeah, so I've been playing games since I was 6. On the Sega Genesis. Well, even starting earlier on the Nintendo, but really seriously playing games on the Sega Genesis. So that like I've been gaming a lot. I played World of Warcraft back in vanilla. And so like I've had a lot of different gaming experiences with a bunch of different games, and Rocket League was special right away, and it hooked me. And I still play it like every day pretty much.
Yeah. It's a really big community for it being really small. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think it's kind of like a sleeping giant. Because
yeah.
You look at the number of online players for Rocket League, it's consistently 400,000+ online concurrent. I think it's just a little bit quiet because it doesn't get as much publicity, but it is a big community. And also I think it's like a really interesting cross section of human society,
right?
Like a lot of times gamers, like you'll have the stereotypical Smash player or whatever.
Yeah.
But with Rocket League, I feel like there's a huge diversity of gamer and person in there. You'll have people who like sports games and they found Rocket League, or you have people who like FPS but just quit it for Rocket League. It's not a genre that has been around for a long time. So I really do enjoy that diversity of the person involved in the community.
Sure. You almost can't put it in a genre. It's like it's not really a sports game. It's not really a car game. But it is. Yeah. It's both.
If you're good at Rocket League and you're a commentator, where else do you go? No, I can't think of a spot.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, right?
That's fair enough. Where'd you get into the casting?
So I just like making stuff. Back in high school, I learned how to make websites. Like my mom got me this book, Website Design for Teens. And like I got into making stuff on Photoshop and things like that. And fortunately sat next to this incredibly talented artist in high school. His name's Colin Sesternino. He actually designed the Turf Wars poster, which was Turf Wars was a 1v1 LAN I did. If you check that out, he designed that poster. But I learned so much in Photoshop and Illustrator and even like 3D modeling stuff from him. And that transitioned into live video editing. So using those 2D graphics to make graphics for YouTube videos. And so I would Twitch stream back in the day just for fun, mainly because I wanted to I'm a bit of a hoarder. And so I wanted to hoard those moments of gaming with my friends. I wanted to hoard those moments and have them forever. So that was why I would stream and make content, is because it was like a time capsule that I always wanted to have. And as part of that initiative, I learned how to make good graphics for esports stuff. And my roommate, there's a long story in a short version. I'll give you the short version unless you want more. But I used to play in those Halo tournaments. One of the people I would always run into was a guy named Z Cancer, who was on a top like amateur aspiring team, and I would always run into his team at tournaments. We'd usually beat his team, but in free for all, he was like unbeatable because he was the best player in West Michigan besides like Dave Walsh, in my opinion. But I met him going to those Halo tournaments, and when I've always like been very lazy and trying to also like organize my life so I don't have to work if I don't want to, so I can play as many video games as possible.
Right.
So
that's the goal.
Yeah, that was like my primary driver in life. So when I got my first job, I bought a house right away that had 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Like, it was super cheap back then. I got the house for like 145 or whatever. Now it's like, I sold it, way lower, but now that house is probably worth like 400.
I was gonna say $500,000.
Ridiculous. It's
easily
insane. But I got that and I made a gaming house, and I lived in 1 room and I rented out 3 rooms to my friends. But I specifically posted on Facebook saying, this is going to be a gaming house. I want only gamers. If you're a gamer, hit me up. Well, my buddy Cliff hit me up. And I knew him from the Halo days. And I'm like, heck yeah, dude. Like, he's not just a gamer. He's a great gamer. He's like awesome. Cause I just, games ruled my time back then.
Match
and
made
even
in heaven.
now. Yeah. But yeah, he was my roommate. And then long story short, he ended up going pro in Evolve, or like being one of the best players in this Evolve game. And I played with him occasionally, and I would make them laugh on Ventrilo and stuff and TeamSpeak. And they're like, James, you got to help Black Aegis commentate our tournaments, because they were doing like ESL Cups online. And I'm like, all right, sure, why not? So then I got into commentating, and I'm like, man, this stream doesn't look great. The graphics kind of stink. And so I said, Black Aegis, let me help you redesign the show. Like, I'll make a broadcast package. And so redesigned the graphics for him. And that's where I got experience on how a baseline esports broadcast runs. And then fast forward a little bit more. My friend now works at Turtle Rock Studios, who made that game. And he works alongside the guy who he used to watch in Twitch chat. Like, his name is the Gentleman Squirrel. But he used to, like, that's how my Cliff found the game, was watching this guy's stream. But now he works literally alongside this guy at Turtle Rock Studios. He made the dream come true for him, which is cool. So cool.
I mean, you want to see that for everybody.
Yes.
You want to see that for all your friends.
Yes. So, but so thanks to Cliff getting involved in Evolve, me getting that experience when Rocket League came out, this guy named Cloud Fuel was organizing tournaments back in the day, the biggest before RLCS. And when he first started organizing these tournaments, I played in his first ever PC tournament. We got knocked out by Gibbs and Cosmic Aftershock in the semifinals. Got obliterated by them, but I knew.
Have you heard the end of that from Gibbs yet?
I mean, they were obliterating everyone. They won like 43 series in a row, So they were unstoppable. There was no shame in getting beat up by them. But when I reached out to Cloud Fuel, I said, "Hey man, I've got this experience from Evolve. Can I help you with your community streams?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, sure, let's do it." So then I got into helping them out. We had a team where Blake, Cloud Fuel, was the lead administrative factor, organizing everything. I would help with the creative advising. And then there was a guy named Vice Gold who owned rocket-league.com. He was the graphic designer. And then there was a programmer, Chris, whose name is Quest Ferret. And he was the programmer who would take the graphics that were designed and bring them into a web-based graphics system that we were using to produce the Rocket League Central shows back in the day. So I was competing in those tournaments, but I was also commentating like with Cloud Fuel, and we were just having the time of our life. Like, we just loved making stuff and doing stuff. We had no idea that it would lead anywhere. But then me and Cloud Fuel ended up getting hired by Twitch to help run the first seasons of RLCS, and
by Twitch themselves.
Yeah.
As a company.
Yeah. So Psyonix was a really small game developer. They didn't know what they were doing really when it came to esports. And Twitch was doing this at the time where they would partner with game developers and run the esports leagues for them. And so they were doing this with a few different games. One of them was like Vainglory, if you remember that back in the day. There was multiple games. I forget which FGC title they had, but they had one of those. But Twitch was partnering with game devs, and they did the same thing with Psyonix. They said, hey, let's be partners in this. We'll operate it for you. We'll just do, split everything 50-50 or whatever. And so as part of that, when Psyonix agreed to that, Twitch decided to make the approach, let's bring in the people who are already doing it for this game, which, huge credit to Justin Delario and Alex Mendez, aka Golden Boy, for making that call. And so they brought us in because Rocket League, like, we were talking about before, there's really nothing like it. So if you want the best authentic experience that the community expects, go with the people who are already doing it. And so I was just right place, right time.
It seems like all the dominoes kind of fell in the exact right way, but maybe this is just outside looking in. It seems like if Psyonix put out an ad that said like, hey, we need a commentator, it seems like they would hire you anyway.
Maybe, because, well, this is, it's funny that you say that, because at least what I had heard through the grapevine or the game of telephone was that Psyonix was actually considering trying to get ESPN voices, like the sports broadcasters to do it who had no game experience.
Good Lord, could you imagine Rocket League with Ken Daniels and Mickey Redmond, dude?
It would probably honestly be pretty good.
He's taking clappers from the blue line. Oh, there's a fight.
Yeah, well, I mean, who's to say how it would have went? But yeah, no, that was credit to Twitch for saying no. Let's bring in the guys who were doing it. So,
right. Yeah. From the ground up.
The gaming community, who, like, people like me who are hardcore into the game, they would call something that's like a doink, they would call it a popper, or look at the pop, something like that.
Oh, doink just sounds way better. Yeah. Props to you for doing in like Twitch, right? Because like I feel like on YouTube people might be a little bit more reserved to make a shitty comment, but on Twitch you'll get someone redeeming TTS and it's like Butt Daddy 97 is just straight talking shit in their TTS. So props to you for doing that. But did the ability kind of come naturally, or did you really have to like practice or do something else as far as casting goes? Because it seems like it all comes natural.
Yeah,
you just got to be yourself, which I feel like you do.
So that's kind of what. Well, thank you for that. And yeah, I just I love the game a lot. Like when I was involved with Evolve and Rocket League, it comes from a place of the love of the game, which a lot of the people who I find who are in esports professionally right now, their Genesis story is a lot similar, where they just were in something because they loved it and something happened where they can do it. And so I still don't really like being on camera. Like, I don't like it. I don't seek out that attention, but I do like being a part of big Rocket League events or big gaming events. Like, to me, it's just getting to see the how the story unfolds and getting to tell that story from my perspective that I enjoy. Like, I do really enjoy that, but it is quite stressful. Like, if you go back into the early seasons, I had panic attacks. There was one on like season 2 I couldn't even broadcast because I had a panic attack on the camera. And
wow.
it was tough. So because like I don't like that attention, that all of the pressure of being on camera per se. But yeah, I love the game so much that it's just fun for me to be a part of it in that way.
But it seems like it's only made you stronger too over time,
Oh,
it seems like
100%.
you've kind of like you tore the muscle and they've just kind of bulked up from there, you know what I'm saying?
Broke the bone, it calcified back like the Muay Thai guys who can kick a steel beam.
Yeah. Avatar where they start healing themselves. You're like, dude, okay.
Or like Goku, Saiyans after they get beat down, they heal stronger. In a way, yeah. It's definitely like I've learned a lot. I started this when I was still like trying to figure out what I believe to be true, back when I was 24, young, still. I think I had a lot to learn. I still have a lot to learn now, but I was a much different person back then. And yeah, being a part of esports and being on camera like that has definitely helped me grow in a lot of ways. Yeah, for sure.
Twitch chat will toughen up your skin too. It'll thicken it up real quick.
Yeah, I can't read all the stuff that's been said.
Thank God. Because I scroll through it sometimes and I'm like, these people. Whew. Love them all, obviously. They're watching the stream.
Yeah.
But damn.
They can be savage.
They can be savage. You grew with the game. Who stood out to you the most? Like, who was your earliest favorite player?
Pernovi.
I think that's a common answer.
I used to rock the Paladin with the crown because I saw him, rocking the Paladin. And he was the king back then. And one of the first pieces of content that I consumed for Rocket League was Pernovi, or Summit reacts to Pernovi's montage. That was a YouTube video of Summit just live reacting to watching Pernovi play Rocket League.
The OG reaction videos.
Yeah. And it was crazy because up to that point, like I didn't know what was possible with Rocket League. I didn't know you could aerial. I didn't know you could boost into the air.
Most people didn't in season 1.
Yeah. So when I watched that, I was reacting along to Summit, and I also thought it was hilarious seeing someone's like, "There's that can't be a human doing that," you know? And like you go look at it now, it's like Champ 1 level gameplay. But
oh, dude, the skills have gotten crazy now.
Kronovi was by far my idol back.
He's still cracked too, from what I see. He's crazy.
He's still very good.
I'm gonna sidetrack myself a little bit. You'll have to help reel me back in. I learned that you were relatively close distance-wise to me, so I reached out to you because I watched.
Was it a major watch party?
No, it was. Blitz made a video.
Oh yeah.
Was it you and
it
Kronovi?
Was yeah. So we were at the major watch party. So I've got a small little esports facility. It's in complete disarray right now due to my CRT TV collection addiction.
Same thing.
Yeah. But yeah, Flitz was out there, Spaceman was out there, Corelli was out there, Dazarin came out. We had Beaver was out there who was helping us on the production, my buddy Doyle, Corelli. I'm sure I might be missing somebody. But yeah, me, Flitz, and Kronovi did a video. He did 3 different eras of
it's
Rocket
so
League
funny.
Gamer.
Your comms are hilarious, dude. I was because I was watching it at work. I was on my break at work, and I got my own little place I just sit at over in the corner, and I'm trying not to like actually laugh because like you guys were all tilting, friendly tilting. It was funny, but yeah, that's how I ended up finding this. I told you you'll have to reel me back in because I sidetracked myself. What were we just talking about?
I think we were talking about. I don't know, getting into RLCS before that, how I got in, and then, I don't know.
Yeah, either way.
Oh well.
So, if I'm understanding what I'm reading right, you're responsible for an in-game item.
That's true. Not a lot of people, I think, nowadays know that.
I need to know the story. I think everybody needs to know the story.
Yeah, so if you go and... So a lot of people think the Pigeon Topper, they associate the Pigeon Topper with the Pigeon Man, the guy who got the Pigeon Man title in Rocket League. But he got that title for collecting 1,000 pigeon heads. So the pigeon head is in the game because of a viral clip that happened to me back in 2016, I believe. So I was commentating RLC at the time, Rocket League Central, but instead of helping out with the stream, I was actually competing in a tournament. And I was streaming, and Rocket League Central had hosted me. And I usually played games in my unfinished basement in our condo that we lived in at the time. And that was getting finished. So I had to take my computer out because there was drywall dust, a bunch of stuff down there. I had to move it up into the kitchen. And so I'm sitting there streaming in the kitchen, and I had gotten hosted by Rocket League Central for like 600 viewers or something, which was a massive amount even back then, even more so back then. But in order to entertain all these newly acquired viewers, I'm like, I got to go get this latex pigeon head that I got. Inspired by my friend Josh Erdmans, who had a latex horse head that he wore to a house party of mine. And I said, I have to one-up him. So I got a latex pigeon head just for that moment. So anyway, I get hosted. I got a bunch of viewers, put on this latex pigeon head. I'm playing Rocket League on stream, like literally like cooing, like, woo, woo, like being an absolute freak. And my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time, was supposed to be at her mom's house watching a movie. So I'm thinking, I've got like 2 hours here.
It's not what it looks like.
Yeah. I got 2 hours here to just do it, like be an idiot. So anyway, like she's my girlfriend at the time. So she's not wife yet. So I can't screw this up, right? I got to stay sane and make her not think I'm absolutely crazy and an idiot. But I'm sitting there playing in the dark on camera. Like you can see the webcam. I'm playing in the dark with this pigeon mask. And my wife walks in because the garage door comes right into the kitchen. And underneath the pigeon mask, I have Logitech G930 wireless headset that completely block out all sound. So my wife comes in. I don't hear her at all. I don't hear her at all. I'm on the, like, being an idiot in a pigeon mask in front of the computer. And she's like, James, what are you doing? And I can't hear her. So what she does is she flicks on the light, and it scares the crap out of me. Like I'm in pure darkness in our kitchen. Then the light comes on, and I whip my head around, and I look, but because of the pigeon mask, it looks like the pigeon is like doing like a, you know, like the whole like
Like an owl when it sees someone, it's got a target sighted.
Yeah.
I can't read chat, guys. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm streaming. Oh, no. My girlfriend just walked in, guys. This got real bad real fast. Oh, no.
So then that happens, and I'm like immediately trying to explain to her what's going on, and it's disastrous. But the Twitch chat thought it was so funny, and then that clip ended up going viral and was like on a viral clip TV show in England or something like that, and like got to the front page of Reddit, and the game developers caught wind of it and thought it was hilarious, and so then they came out with this pigeon topper, which actually was controversial at the time because the eyes moved around. Like they didn't know if it was are people going to think this is like a decapitated like zombie bird or whatever. But when they came out with that item, the reason why I can say I think they did it for me, or I can confidently say that they did, is because they awarded it to my account. I didn't have to find it in the game.
Right.
When I logged in, when the item came out, it was just popped up as you have a new item.
Well, I'm rocking the pigeon topper on the Roadhog just in honor for that. Did they do a painted version of that?
They do have multiple different versions now. They have like an anodized and an anodized gold and some different types. Yeah.
Psyonix put it on the item shop, one of the colored ones, because of this one. Or one of the painted ones. You can't say that anymore.
What did he say?
Yes. So that's how the I think Sunless Con did do a video about it, covering a little bit of the history, but that was,
I think that's where I dug it out from, because I feel like I think I saw that clip before I even knew what Rocket League really was. I think it was on Ridiculousness.
It might, I mean, I
If I'm
probably
not
didn't even
mistaken.
see all the places it went.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that it popped off, and I just thought it was the best thing ever, and it was
Too
hilarious.
funny.
So.
That's too funny. I'm going to talk a little bit more about casting after the first break. Is there an unspoken rule if you have a co-caster and you're doing a game?
You know, I think to me the unspoken rule is don't work against each other. Like, you know, if somebody make like you're there as a safe pair of hands, right? If somebody,
Unless you're dazzering and teammates, then it's funny. But
yeah, but even then, you know, the goal is entertainment, and you're working as a team. So for me, like the factor that will make me just not want to work with anyone is if they're trying to capitalize, like make themselves look good at the other person's expense.
for sure.
So because, you know, there's times where in the booth you're going to make a mistake, where whether, you know, you say the wrong game score or you forget something or forget a player name or like something like that, you know, you can help. You need, like, as a co-commentator, you need to be trying to help elevate your co-caster and save them in their times of peril. To me, that's the unspoken rule.
That's a
But
good
it might be
unspoken rule.
different to different people.
I mean, yeah, that's words to live by, though. You don't want to be fighting each other either. But like, I feel like especially now with every eye on you, like someone's gonna clip that part in Twitch and then just blast out everywhere and see mess up. So once you can help someone recover, I'm sure it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
But it seems like it's y'all are a tight knit group.
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of so the history of Rocket League is pretty unique in that there was a prequel, and that's why Kronovi was the best in the world, is because he played supersonic acrobatic rocket powered battle cars. Gibbs was a part of
that's a
that community.
mouthful.
I know, we call it SARP now, just to make it, you know, somewhat usable in conversation. But that community was very tight knit and close, and that transferred over when Rocket League came out. The SARP community was the nucleus of the Rocket League community. So it, through osmosis, you know, everyone kind of, I think, felt very comfortable being close, being friendly, and just, you know, working as a team from the very beginning. So it's still true to this day. I love all of them. You know, they're some of my closest friends now. We've been friends for now over 10 years.
Yeah, it's been that's like your friend group at this point. Let's thread the thinnest piece of twine right between that tight knit. Is there a specific caster that you feel like you have more chem with than everybody else
on the microphone?
On the microphone during a game.
Oh gosh, you know, I feel like I mean, it's always easy to commentate with Shogun. Shogun is,
that's who I was gonna say too.
Yeah, I think Shogun is one of the best, if not the best, and he has the most famous line. This is Rocket League.
Yeah, 100%.
I love Shogun. but I really don't get to work with him much anymore because we have divided teams. I think I really enjoyed working with Achieves. I thought Achieves was criminally underrated with his style.
100%. He's so good.
But as far as the synergy, me and Dazarin have something special from all the practice we've got on NRG mission control. But Corelli, I paired up with him because I loved how he commentated, and commentating with him was really, really easy. So, I think in the past I probably would have answered Shogun right away, but because I don't get to cast with him much anymore, we have to be able to cast with everyone, and I do love casting with everyone.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like especially when you and Shogun would cast a game, especially when you and Daz. There was just never a dead time on the mic, though. It was always you, him, right back to back, and like you never talked over each other. It just seemed like that chem was right there.
It was. I mean, Shogun's a pro. Shogun probably spends more time trying to perfect the act of casting than anyone else, in my opinion. I think he's he takes the most professional approach to the commentating portion of it, and it shows. He's so good. And yeah, casting with him season 8 was probably the peak of my career. Like I'll point back if somebody says, "Hey, I want to go see what you did," that's what I would point him back to, and that was with Shogun.
Yeah, and he does have that most famous line too, which
everybody. This is Rocket League.
This is Rocket League. Everybody, even people that don't play Rocket League, know that specific clip.
It's
from
printed
that.
on T-shirts. Yeah, I mean, you'll see some random clip of somebody accidentally jumping their car off a tow truck on the highway, and somebody will comment, "This is Rocket League."
The clip of the people playing wheelchair basketball. Yeah. I was waiting for you at breakfast, and that popped onto my Facebook, and I'm like, "Oh my lord!"
Somebody sent me that because they used my I was like J-Naps, and they added that into that video.
I love it. I want to dive more into the casting too, but let's take a quick break, and then we'll get back right into it.
Okay, let's do it.
Today's video is brought to you by the subscribe button. I don't have any sponsorships, so if you like what you're seeing, please tell me that I'm doing something right and tell me to keep doing these things by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Let's get back to it.
Was Rocket Royale your first Rocket League sanctioned event or Psionic sanctioned event?
Oh gosh, so I don't think Rocket Royale was ever officially sponsored by Psionics.
Okay.
So there was some people back in the day, I believe Utrid was the name of the person who originally sponsored the first Rocket Royales. Those were the first events that I did commentate, though. Rocket Royale, which nice.
I love that.
Rocket
it's like racking a Glock.
I know, it's just lock in, ready to go. But yeah, that's where I really started commentating a lot of Rocket League was Rocket Royale, and then eventually the RLC Pro League. That is where I got a majority of my experience.
Gotcha. So assuming that was kind of the first bigger audience casted game that you had done, right?
I had mentioned before a little bit, I think, about Evolve, how I was commentating those. We would get up to 600 viewers sometimes on those streams, which was a lot for Evolve. That was, I think, how we peaked out at. Usually would be 200 to 600 viewers. But that was where I really got my first experience having an active Twitch chat, reacting to the calls I'm making on a tournament. So that did carry over tenfold with Rocket League. But yeah, Evolve was where I got my original reps and got comfortable doing it.
What was the feeling leading up to that? Jitters, butterflies, confidence?
Honestly, it was never really it was more excitement than anything, because my own stream and my own content never really did well. I wasn't really well, I mean, I say that, but honestly, back when I was making those Counter-Strike videos, there were a few videos I was making that got 10,000 views back in 2015 or so, which is a lot
huge.
Now.
Yeah.
But I never I was never doing it for the money. Up to even then, I guess, now I have to do it because I have a family to provide for. But back then it was just about having fun. And so I just loved it. And I never stopped to think about it, really. It was more just, we're doing another tournament. Can't wait. I love this stuff. Let's get into it. And then, after the Rocket Royales, I'd always go to Steak and Shake to treat myself to a burger after the 8-hour cast.
Steak and Shake. Love me some steak and
So
shake.
yeah, it was just about being in the moment, really, just having fun.
That's cool. And especially because you weren't doing it for the money either.
Yeah, we
so
were
there
not
was like
getting
really
paid
no
anything.
major
Yeah,
pressure.
we were not getting paid anything.
And you
It was
pulled up
just
today
fun.
in the Lamborghini, but we're not going to talk about that.
That is not true.
It was like, damn, I would have brought my Lamborghini too.
That's funny.
I'm going to make you dig back for this one. And it's a loaded question, but it's not. What are your top 3 personal favorite games that you've casted? Or you can do series. I'll do series too.
So series is season 6 grand finals.
Cloud 9! They are about to do the unthinkable! They've done it! Cloud 9 dethrones the kings of Rocket League!
That's season 8 grand finals for sure, and then season 7. Those are my top 3.
It's got to always be fun doing a grand finals too. Now, as far as intensity, maybe even something that you haven't casted. What are your most intense series that you've watched before? Because I have a couple. I have
Series
one in particular.
like in Rocket League, like a specific.
I have one that stands out to me. But I want to hear. I want to hear what yours is.
Without a doubt, it's the season 8 grand finals. Like that was the most gut wrenching series I've ever been a part of. Because if you're not familiar with season 8 was NRG back to the grand finals, but they have Turbo instead of Fireburner, and they're playing against the Titans of Europe. It's a I think it was Scrubkilla, Fairy Peak, and K-Dop in the finals. And before, K-Dop had beaten this team, with Turbo, and I think it was Violent Panda was the team they lost
Violent
to
Panda.
in season 5. So NRG, Garrett and Justin specifically, had fallen in Game 7 overtime to K-Dop and against Turbo. Now Turbo's on their team playing to try to end this NRG curse that they've been plagued with at World Championships. And imagine the heartbreak, especially as a North America fan.
You could see it on their faces too.
Yeah,
you could visibly see the heartbreak, and that was
in the booth. It's like I am even at the time and even still today really good friends with Sizz. Sizz was the coach of NRG at the time and was good friends with Garrett as well. And so I didn't even want to imagine what it would be like if they lost. So that was without a doubt the most intense.
Great play to this corner. Fairy Peak. He's got past 2 players. Looks for a bump. Garrett G clears. Justin! NRG do what they could not do before! Justin, his 0-second goal kept their hopes alive in London.
Series I've ever been a part of.
that had to have been a fun one. I think the one that stands out to me, it was a NASCAR event. I don't remember what it was for, but it was when NRG reverse swept phase when Garrett was under the weather.
yeah.
That was wild to watch play out live. It was who casted that? It was Subi and I guess RIP Subi on the casting thing.
I do love Subi too.
He was good. Stacks?
It may have
It was
been.
Subi and
Gosh,
Stacks.
Yeah, I don't
That
know.
was oddly a really, really good combination too, but I think that was the most intense series I've ever watched.
Yeah, those reverse phases, was reverse. I don't know who was on that phase at the time.
That was FK, AJ, Typical.
Okay.
FK, AJ, and Sip.
Yeah.
And then the big 3 in NRG. I mean, of course, gives Garrett, Justin, and Squishy.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
Loved
crazy.
that era of NRG.
I did too.
It's a shame that that we didn't get lands during the best of their performances.
Yeah, they were just unstoppable at this point. And then fast forward now, and NRG is so much. I don't care. I'll say it. NRG is there's definitely a huge gap between the rest of NA and NRG right now.
That's the way it seems.
Yeah.
In terms of points, that's very true. The ultimates are right next to them.
They're right next to them.
There, but they.
I think that sleeper could be Gen G as well.
Yeah,
now they have more
have been
scrim
looking
time.
good.
They got. I mean, MB is probably
And
in the
Justin
top 5
is
in NA,
on that
and
team.
Justin is on the
Yeah,
team,
that's-
and they mesh so well, dude.
And,
the chem is there.
Cheese
Cheese is unstoppable.
They boot camped at my facility 2 times. They did okay. those times, but I got to like hang out with the players more. And I hung out with Cheese before at Solo Queue, which was an event that I hosted. And then Magic
He seems
Bear,
like such a good dude.
he
Cheese, seems so funny.
He is really one of the nicest people. Like he's really a nice kid. And so is Magic Bear. Like Magic Bear, we got to hang out with him at the Totally Excellent Weekend by Wisdom, who bought Gold Rush from me and Corelli and Furtive and Quinn. They like kept it going. We went out there, and it's funny because Justin was a teammate with Magic Bear and Hootie Hoo. They were the Neon Ballers, and they won that LAN. But I got to hang out with Magic Bear, and he's also so nice. Like everyone, like Raw Greg and Kev Pert, even Justin, like that Gen G, the vibes on that team have to be amazing.
They have to be,
especially with them winning too.
Yeah,
I love that team.
And like team casting aside, right? I think now that chem's there and it's obviously there, they're going to be tough, man.
I hope.
They're going to be tough.
I hope. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff happen in NA.
Yeah.
Like I saw Space Station miss out on the last major.
Right.
And so it's you can never count your chickens before they hatch.
For sure. Yeah, that's going to be a crazy one. I'm going to do another top 3. Cast it or not, doesn't matter. What are the most wild goals that you've seen in an event or on a LAN or whatever?
Yeah. So in no particular order, the squishy ceiling shot.
This was the scoreline in game 3. Cloud9 unable to take it, but Squishy now with a ceiling shot. He puts it through. He's been going for this stuff all season, and he pulls it off here in the most clutch moments.
The player to invent the shot himself is able to get the delayed front flip.
Gotta be.
Was amazing.
The legendary one.
Yep, legendary. The obviously number one, I guess I do have to put a particular order on it, was Justin's 0-second goal in London, season 5.
Immediately, they've got the kick off in their favor. Kato tries to clear. It is almost there, just as it hits the floor. Violet Panda puts it a long way, and it's almost there. Justin keeps it alive. Teleports it there. Bounces into the corner. NRG stunner. Justin in there. What a shot. This is Rocket League.
To be there in person, it was electric.
I bet
it was electric.
Decibel level on that place was outrageous.
Yes.
Probably broke sound ordinance.
I mean, no one could believe it. No one could believe it. That was so incredible. Gosh, I want to also say the Justin season 8 goal, the overtime winner, but that was less of a, wow, what a goal that was, and more about the
just the way it played out.
Yeah, the stakes that were.
That was a real high redirect, or is that the one I'm thinking of?
No, his overtime winner was just a simple Vitality had overcommitted in the corner, and the ball was passed up to Justin at the midfield, and he just goes up and knocks it down into an open net. Pretty much, it had to be a perfect shot. It had to be a good shot, and he did it.
It was a clutch moment.
Yeah, so I don't want to use that one though. So got the squishy ceiling shot, which is his famous one that he actually scored on against Metzenaris, who we were talking about before the show.
Now Platts are doing that, and it's like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah, and then another big shot. I mean, Squishy did a flip reset in the season 6 grand final. That was pretty amazing, but it got cleaned up by Torment. Gosh, what would be the number 3? This is a tough one. I don't know which one I would put up there. Maybe the over 0 air dribble season 1.
Over 0.
Yeah. To me, doing it on the world championship stage makes it hit different.
For sure. Yeah, that's why. So I think this one was at a LAN. Daniel's half flip into an air dribble.
That was online.
That was online?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Half flip into an air dribble to a reset.
To a flip reset, yeah.
Yeah, like from the midfield.
Yep.
Resurrect their chances. Now it's a 3-on-2 after that demo off a kickoff. And Beast Mode dancing against First Killer off the ceiling. Atomic and Chronic collide. But now Jack gets it out. And Daniel flipping the play on its head, dribbling above First Killer. Chronic in the net, so was Jack. The pop! Daniel! He's a hero!
What a special play from Daniel. He half flips into an air dribble into a flip reset. I have never.
Yeah, that one was crazy.
I was commentating that one. Couldn't believe it when he did it. It was the best shot I had seen in a long time.
Who were you commentating that with?
Lemon Kiwi was on the call.
That's right.
Me.
Okay, gotcha. Sad we didn't get to see her start doing a little bit better too. But
yeah, it's with the casting situation in Rocket League has been a bit turbulent with all the changes. So you know, some people coming, a lot of people going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad to see Herc's doing. I mean, she's grown a lot in a casting sense, but atomic squishy goal.
Lion Blaze, and now another mistouch. Daniel's shot.
Oh my goodness!
By Atomic on the goal line, and NRG take the lead.
And back to that Lion Blaze mess up. Actually,
Oh, he squishy saved
wait,
it.
what?
I didn't see from the camera angle, but he.
Which one?
His in and out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've never seen that
Okay,
one before.
okay, yeah. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
That one was pretty recent.
Yes.
Maybe last season.
Okay.
Maybe this.
I think I
season?
know what you're talking about. Yep. Where he came out and kind of redirected it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember that play because Kronovi had done that years ago.
Okay.
And he might have had an even better.
I'd never seen that at that point.
Yeah.
I've never seen Kronovi shot doing that.
You should check out Kronovi's shot as well and see which one you like more.
Got two teammates in the midfield, but Ajax hasn't met. And Wonder went over to the side. Kronovi looked for demos. And, oh my goodness, what was this? How did he put this in?
I have no idea, because I know he went for the demos. I wasn't expecting him to come out of the net, though.
Oh, no way!
Oh,
What was that?
that one's money.
I think Kronovi's shot was right up there with it, but it was
Especially
the same
'cause
exact
he
kind
probably,
of shot.
I mean, obviously that would have been way earlier that he did it too.
Years.
So everyone's mind blown for that. And then, I mean, of course, Zen being Zen. I don't know if that was Grand Final Worlds or
His signature shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
that ceiling was a ceiling pinch double
Yep.
tap.
Yep.
Wild.
That was a great shot.
The 50 knows Seiko's ready. Great patience there on the backboard. Tries to get the flip Redocin, just fakes it out, leaves it for the man, the magician, the superstar. It's the signature shot!
Watch it. Love it.
Wild.
That one I think was a little less exciting because of how much of a beat down.
It was a huge beat down.
But that was a great shot. For
Yeah,
him to
but
hit
seeing
that.
him do it on a LAN and yeah, that place had to have been going nuts.
Oh yeah, that was a great venue too. I think it was like the PSD Bank Dome in Germany, in Dusseldorf.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really great venue.
That had to have been wild.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was kind of like the peak of RLCS under ESL. So ESL produced the first, or not the first season, but they produced the many seasons in a row. And then recently it switched from ESL to Blast. So that's why things look a little bit different and the format changed because it was different production partner. But that event was like the last event that ESL did, the World Championship, and it was crazy. The venue is crazy. Like if you go back and look at some of the shots, there's some shots of like LeafX standing on the stage where you could just see him and then all of the audience behind him. It looked like an anime shot. It was so good.
I believe it. Any up and coming players that you feel like we should keep an eye out for, whether they're on like a bubble team, maybe outside of top 8, who do you think are the ones that can really break through and kind of change the dynamic of their team?
Maybe the one of the older players on that list would be Evo. I still believe that Evo super capable. You saw what he did with the boys. Even this, I mean, you may not.
Unbelievable. I did, yeah.
Okay, so I still believe that Evo is going to have a lot of success. Still very young. Some really young players that I'm looking at are Plexi, who is on SOS, and Mech.
Yes, but yeah, definitely. I've seen a lot from Mech.
Teaming with Flitz.
Yep.
So Plexi and Mech are two interesting players, two really young players that I'm just going to be closely watching. I think they could really develop into some great players. Scribbles, Reveal, Kofor, the whole SSG team. Yeah, they could maybe be even better for sure, but I think they're already great.
God, he's ridiculous, and then Frosty too.
Yep.
Yeah, especially. I mean, who's Frosty on before? He's kind of bounced.
He was on
around.
SSG,
Now
so
he's
he was on
Complexity.
SSG. There was a lot of rumors and drama that. I honestly didn't follow.
I don't really follow that.
But anyway, he was let go from Space Station and joined up on Complexity in place of Razebull, who went back to Sam, who's on Corinthians now in Sam. And I think they most recently got a top 4. But yeah, Frosty's over on Complexity, and then Kofer joined up to fill this spot on Space Station.
What a good addition to Space
He's
Station.
been great. Yeah.
I just realized this mic sounds so much better now that I moved. And I'm sorry for the previous hour. I don't know, however long it's been. But
they'll fix it in post, right? Fix it in post.
Am I right? Yeah. They'll fix it in
lip
post.
sync the whole thing.
I'll voice over it, it'll like subtitle it in a different language or something. So people are like, nah, I don't know what he's saying. So I saw a bunch of YouTube comments with some replies that hate Stack's intros to all of the LAN events.
They hate them?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's the most wild take I've ever heard.
Yeah, that is preposterous.
I had half a mind if my wife wouldn't have slit my throat on the spot of reaching out and being like, hey, will you do an intro to our wedding? Yeah.
He's the type of person that would totally.
I would gladly have him. I mean, plate of food. I'll buy his flight. I don't know where he's from. I don't care. I'll buy his flight. It doesn't matter. Dude, Stack's intros are legendary.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of person is saying crap like that, because to me, Stacks is so good that he could leave for boxing. He could go anywhere he wants and do that. So I talked a little bit about how Shogun, I think, is the most professional one out there. You know, Stacks is right up there too.
I think Stacks is the most hype.
Stacks is
100%.
the most hype. He's the most. I think he's the most surgical and prepared, and honestly, he's just so crispy with how he delivers everything. You listen to him. He's got the stats. He's got it written out, what he wants to say. He is prepared, man.
I can see him having a very well-organized notebook.
He does have a notebook.
He's
got this. He runs the special stats program, so he can see all the stats instead of looking at the end game menu or the post game stats. So he's great. Stacks, I think, is the most professional one on the NA crew of how he approaches things and how he does things, for sure. He's great.
Those intros are legendary. Yeah, every time you hear one, you're like, ooh, look at those. You got chills.
Yeah, that's one huge plus, I think, to Blast. Blast really crushes those intros with Stacks. Like, do you remember that giant, just the way they do the lighting? It's so
cool.
It's so cool.
And then the song starts playing, you're like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. I feel like he would be really good to do like a co-event with. I had this thought that would be super entertaining for every level of player, right? You had, I feel like I've seen this in golf before, right? Like you have a Pro-Am tournament. I feel like a Pro-Am tournament in Rocket League, but like you only have like plats and champs would be an absolute blast. I know it'd be very one-sided for the pros. Obviously, it'd be like a 1v1 with like someone either getting in your way to maybe taking all your boost or maybe helping you. I feel like that would be a really fun event to have.
Yeah, I feel like, for the plats, they would have to be like really well-known personalities, and there would have to be a lot at stake. I think that's how.
Or complete nobodies.
Or you could do that, but man, I feel like maybe I'm jaded, but watching low-level Rocket League it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah, it hurts.
It hurts. Tough. If you're like a gold or diamond and you're watching a silver play, it's like painful seeing a ball that you're like, oh, you could go and double tap that, or you could get a flip reset with that ball.
He's in the other corner trying to get a full boost.
Like, I can't watch this. It's too hard.
Oh, we drove into the post.
Unless there's comms. If there's comms, then that might make it worth it.
That might make it worth it.
Because the comms make it funny.
Yeah, like who did the RLBS tournament? That was Sunless, right?
Probably.
Yeah, he made that fake RLCS stream, and it was like there was a whole team of just low-level players. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
So
he's done some great stuff.
I feel like if you had comms, it'd be a whole lot funnier. Are there any changes that you want to see in RLCS down the road? Whether it be, like I said, I don't know anything about format-wise, so I'm gonna take your word for whatever. But whether it be format, whether it be rules on imports, whether it be whatever.
Yeah, I might be on the minority side of this, but I think the import rules are fine as they are, because I'm a very practical person, and policing that is just a whole extra load that is just not going to be manageable. Trying to police it, because you try to define resident. Well, if you get into there and try to define what a resident means, you're going to be excluding people who you would consider part of that region.
Yeah.
Or the vice versa. You'll define resident in a way that's easy for people to just manipulate. They're going to find the loophole and go around it.
Right. So policing it's almost impossible.
And some people were making some really good suggestions in the past. It's like, well, for some regions who maybe don't deserve the RLCS spot or they're being invaded, just make region cash cups and leave RLCS until, like, not have them be part of RLCS till they're ready. So I think there's a lot of better approaches out there. As far as the biggest change I'd love to see is I'd like to see the third split come back. I think two splits is not enough. 2 majors into Worlds isn't enough. The gaps are too big. Would really love to see that. I think the format should change a little bit. I talked a little bit about my opinion on I love the round of 32 Swiss where they have 2 different Swiss groups. It
took me a while to understand, but I ended up liking it a lot.
Yeah, but I think they should do Swiss into Swiss. If you really want to get the best teams, you do the 32 team Swiss, 2 different groups of Swiss. That kicks out 16 total teams again, and then you do another round of Swiss to get top 8. That's what I would prefer. But I mean, there's a million ways to skin a cat. And I really liked what we used to do back in the day where we would have different splits, would have different qualifier formats. I actually thought that was great.
Mm-hmm.
I really think we had the format figured out back then. It was a lot of fun to watch, and it was mixing it up. But I think the biggest piece is I would like to see another major, just a whole nother split. Everything else is nitpicking, but that's the big change I'd like to see.
I think that'd be a good change too, and I like the import, or I like the way that they handle imports now. Like, who's Twisted Minds? It's Rise, it's
Atomic,
Atomic as well, and then
Spanish Atomic.
Yeah, with a K, Atomic with a
yes.
K, and then Nupo.
Yes, yep.
They are so entertaining to watch. You almost have to factor it in like baseball, right? I feel like if we had a baseball league. Or if you just put it in MLB where like everybody can take steroids and do whatever they want, it's just going to be so much more fun to watch.
It
right?
is entertaining.
So why wouldn't you just try to make a dream team and then make it happen?
I just think about, you think about normal sports. How many NHL players are from the region? Or like you go,
maybe,
you've got a bunch of
30%
Russian people, Finnish people, Swedish people from all over the world. People are going to go to where they can make a living doing it if they're good enough to make a living doing it.
Right.
They're scattering across the globe to be able to do that. I understand, after being a part of Twitch running things back in the day and also running my own events, having to make rule sets, that it is such a burden, and it's just not it's really not achievable in an effective way to try to enforce that type of rule. It's like looking at it from an economic perspective. You do a cost benefit analysis of it. It's going to cost way more trying to get something like that policed effectively. And you may spend a lot doing it in the real world. You may spend a lot doing it and still not do a good job because people will find ways around it. They'll find a way to
people are going to find loopholes one way or another.
Yeah. So I understand why they do it. It doesn't mean that I like that it's happening. I don't like that. The EU number 70 seed represents SSA at Worlds and at majors. That's boring to me. I don't like it, but I understand that it's happening and why it's happening. And I don't think that it's necessarily, the most important thing to solve right now in RLCS.
Yeah, there's definitely bigger things to, I don't want to say worry about, but there's bigger things to do. Yeah.
Which, I mean, for some people, like if you're part of that region, I can understand why you'd feel super passionate about it. But, when you're dealing with a global game like this, everyone's going to have their own agenda and their own opinion on what's important and what needs attention.
And, at one point they wanted to move to a major region because, like, they're far better than whatever kind of team they can put together. It's like, damn, I wish I would have done that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like the import rule. I want you to plug the Ascent. How fun's it going to be?
So talking about Ascension Protocol, it's this latest 1v1 event that I came out with. So I've been organizing events since for Rocket League since 2017. Started out with Gold Rush 1, which was broadcast out of my apartment in Oakland when I worked at Twitch. Did Gold Rush 2, which was, again, out of the Bay Area. did paired up with Rizzo to do a lot of events with Rizzo. But this Ascension Protocol is the first event that's all me in terms of where I'm choosing to distribute the content and who I'm working with at the highest level to get it done. So before, Rizzo was my business partner. We just did stuff. But now that Rizzo left for greener pastures, I'm just doing this on my own. So Ascension Protocol is going to be a 1v1 event. You can read all about it at my website, jamesbot.net. You just go to jamesbot.net.
I'll put a little thing in the right over here.
Yeah, I've got a news page. I've got actually some community funding things in there. So I have 2 VIP tickets. They're $1,500, which is really expensive. But the VIP tickets, what they do is there's only 2 of them. If you buy it, you get to attend the event, and it increases the prize pool by $500 for the event, and also brings out another player to LAN. So I have 2 out there, which can increase it to 6. And then right now I'm hoping to get some partners on board that will let LAN be 8 players. So that's really my end goal, is to get it to be 8 players. But in esports right now, it's kind of esports winter. Things are tough. But I have a small esports facility in West Michigan and got a commercial building out there that I'm only using part of it. But my vision is to do more bigger Rocket League events like Solo Queue, like Turf Wars,
Solo Queue was so fun.
like Gold Rush. That's my dream. And I'm trying to organize and sell these myself. So I'm like reaching out to brands, trying to sell sponsorships, things like that. Would really love to land a key partner so that I can run Gold Rush style events every year and have it be sustainable and worth my time. Because now that I'm a dad, got real bills to pay. You can't just...
You have to calculate your time.
It has to be financially viable as well. I'll still do things no matter what because I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But for me to spend this much time on something, it has to have a financial return in order for me to justify that time spent. Because if I don't pay my bills, then we can't live the way we're hoping, and we'll have to change stuff. So yeah, that's the high level thing. You want to learn about it? Go to jamesbot.net. Got a lot of really good players. Atomic joined up in it recently. First Killer joined. Daniel joined. Evo's going to be in there. Wavy's going to be in there. Hoping to get more players, but there's a lot of really awesome players. Brettles, Cheese, Magic Bear.
That's going to be big.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And the way that event works is I have an online ladder system. So a queue window will be open Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. In my Discord, people can anonymously queue for matches. And you just play. You show up during that window. You can queue in and play. So you never know. We don't have scheduled matches. Maybe some of the top players will never play. Who knows what it's going to be? But at the end of the ladder play stint, so I think it's July 19 is it's July 10 is the last day of ladder play. The ladder play stops, and then I'll take the top X players on the leaderboard. They'll go into playoffs. That will be their seeding, and then you qualify for LAN, and then we do the LAN.
That's going to be so sick. Like with what you can do with production, and I mean, knowing you for 3 hours now, like I know your drive is going to make that happen too. Like,
I'm going to do my best. It might suck, but I don't care if it sucks. I don't mind if it sucks.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think the way you have it set up, I don't know if that has the possibility of sucking. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I feel like you're in good shape.
I hope not. But you can't be afraid of failure in this business, in this line of work. You have to be okay with going out on a limb and just doing your best, and that's what it is. I mean, this has been a lot of fun getting to just sit down and talk about it. I spend a lot of my days just getting the event ready, hanging out with my family, searching for CRT TVs on Facebook Marketplace, and doing everything for the event. So it's good to take a break here and there.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Do you have any tips for any up and comers trying to either get into the casting space or maybe even into the pro space before we end this off?
Oh, certainly. I think if you're young enough, get an esports program going at your school. They have middle school programs, high school programs, and a lot of colleges are offering esports programs as well. From my experience, all it takes is one passionate person to really make a big impact and to also provide a platform to get better at what you want to do. So if you're out there and you're in middle school, high school, college, or even beyond, get a program happening at your school. If you're already graduated from school, then start making content on your own, trying to organize your own tournaments, what Tryhouse does, what you see Fear doing, and just start doing it yourself. Get out there. And if you don't want to do it yourself, try to find a volunteer organization. There used to be a lot more back in the day with like PRL and RLC, things like that. But there's still organizations out there, communities out there that are doing events. Just be a body that can show up and have fun being a part of a program. That's probably the best advice I could give.
I think that's super solid advice to give. And I'm going to say us old guys, right? Because people in Flitz's stream call him Unk, and he's what, 21?
Yeah, he's like 20 something.
Yeah,
Like
20, 21. I'm 29. You're 35.
Yeah.
What the hell does that make us? You've already been turned into gasoline. I am great grandpa. But I think Fear is he hovering around our age?
I think
is he
30s.
a little bit younger?
Yeah, he's a little younger, I think.
Okay.
I'd have to ask him.
That was a really good way to do it. Just to take your already really good casting skills and just doing it yourself. Like, I think he's a great example of like jumping into the space, just making it happen, because his following's really big now, and like he loves his followers. His followers love him. I don't know. It's
like he saw like Johnny Boy, I think, was the first one to really show what you could do. And I think Johnny Boy was telling me, that I think he drew inspiration from somebody from a different game that was doing the same type of thing. But I would tell, like, for people out there, you don't have to just do it with pros.
For sure.
You can start with college. You could start with just people who want to play on stream. And I think the important thing is just getting familiar with the whole process of creating the content the way you want to do it. And then if you stay consistent at it, you'll be able to continue to grow from there if it's meant to be.
I think so too. And it's always good to get creative with it too. You don't have to be stuck to a pro format, like you said. So
yeah, do whatever you want. Just the important thing, I think, is getting out there and making stuff.
Just have the passion.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Well, James, thanks for doing this, buddy. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Brett.
Like I said, you responded to a random X account with 0 followers, and
you had no profile picture too.
Really?
Yeah, at the time,
that's
it was
hilarious.
It was a gray, I was
like, please let me look. I have a YouTube video. Look at me.
That was funny.
So,
my pleasure, though.
Yeah, good looking out, dude. So, let's cast a tournament of plats or something. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
I'm down. That'd be so funny. Well, thanks a lot, bud.
My pleasure, Brett. Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody.